Hello friend, welcome back to Toyota Maintenance YouTube channel. I heard a myth from someone that the mechanics never work on their cars because they are tired of working on other people's cars and then they don't maintain their own. So let's break that myth today, and obviously remember it's my 2005 Sequoia, and let's go together and do the oil change. And I will start with the popping up the hood, right, which gives me access to the engine area. Under here I will continue with removing this filler cap, which nicely tells me that I will be using 5W30 engine oil, right, so I can clean it and put it aside. And I will also pull the engine oil dipstick and let it rest here. And once she's safely up there in the air, I would love to show you how easy it will be to work on this job. This is the engine oil filter. Look how easy accessible it is, right? And here comes engine oil pan drain plug. I brought here my oil catching pan, and all of you remember that these drain plugs are 14mm, right? So I have a 14mm socket. Let's see. Now that was pretty tight, but that's good. Couldn't fall off, right? And let's see how it will drain. I don't want to have any spills, so I will push it as close as possible towards to the drain. Always comes out with the force. I don't want to have it spraying all over here. Maybe this will work. Nice, and you can see that oil is nicely coming out. It's definitely dark. You will maybe see it later, or maybe right now. Yeah, it's really dark and old, so it was perfect time to change it today. In many cases you can immediately continue with unscrewing this engine oil filter and start a removal, right? But it will also drip, and this drain plug is too far from this area for my catching pan to catch both, so I have to wait a little bit with this. But I don't want to be standing around, so I brought another catching pan here, right? I put it on my transmission jack, and we can see how tight was this filter. These are always supposed to be only hand tight, right? So if somebody used the wrench, I will be not able to loosen it. But let's see if it was done correctly. Should be able to grab it. Using just hands, it should give. And I can tell you already that it's really, really tight. Well, okay, let's use a wrench. Of course, all the experts of you can see it's a generic non-Toyota filter, right? So I can use a wrench like this. That should help me to loosen it. So I will get my 3/8 ratchet, right? And that should be enough to help me loosen that filter. And I'm gladly showing it to you in live, right? You can see all the details. I'm not stopping the camera. Somebody really over-tied it. It's amazing. Even this is slipping. I start feeling that this video is becoming the comparison for all kinds of oil filter wrenches and not oil change on Sequoia. Look how this one perfectly hugs it, right? So let's see. That should be absolute breeze with it. Look at it. Look how easy it is, right? If you use this kind of wrench. There is enough space, right? So there was no reason for me to start with it. This is the wrench. Fantastic. Now I can continue by the hand. You will see about that drip I was talking about, right? Look at it. And that's why I have to have 2 catching pans. Let me show you detail of that engine oil filter housing. You can see it nicely right here, right? That's where we will be installing that new filter when this drip will stop. I'm pretty sure you can see with me that it stopped dripping, right? I gave it a lot of time. I was not in a hurry today. So that's good. I can perfectly clean it and I can install the new filter. As we said, that should be by hand only, right? It's always advisable to pre-lube this little rubber o-ring, right? Put a tiny bit of the oil in it. And my last cleaning right here, and I'm screwing on by the hand only the new filter, right? I will tighten it a lot, right? Nice and snug, but I will not use any wrench, and this is the result. Now we are back to that drain plug. Also this area is not dripping anymore, right? This is fantastic. I will always use new crusher washer. It's the blue one from Toyota dealer, right? So you put it on your drain plug bolt. I will introduce it, screw it on by the hand, and then I will torque it to the spec. And you who watch my other videos, right, you all remember so that I like it to torque it to 40 Newton meters. So this is my snap-on torque wrench. And let's see. We will listen for that audible sound, right? That's it. And it was 39.3. That's good for me. So drain plug it's correctly and safely in the place, and I can lower Sequoia and start working in the engine bay. So I'm back in the engine bay area, right? I brought my funnel here to minimize the possible spills. I have my 5W30 conventional oil, right? But now how much this 4.7 liter I-Force V8 is taking, right? So if you look in your owner's manual, it says that if you are replacing the filter, it will need 6.5 quarts. So I will start with pouring 6, and I will start after that using my dipstick, measuring the level of the oil. As I'm pouring it in, right, it brings the question. This Sequoia has 164,000 miles, right, on this engine. And now comes the moment when some people will say, oh no, I will not stick with that 5W30. I will go with something thicker because, right, the engine is older, so to compensate for the larger tolerances, or they will put some additive in that oil. As you can see, I stick with the original, right, the oil which was prescribed for this engine, the way it was developed in the beginning. But again, that's a non-ending, right, discussion between the people. And if you do something else, if you have some tricks up on your sleeve, please share it with others underneath this video, right? I'm making those videos to be some kind of video forum, and people really, I encourage everybody to share their own experience. I'm not trying to preach something here. It should be definitely sharing platform. I have all 6 quarts right in the engine, so I will wipe this dipstick dry. You can see these 2 marks, and I'm going to see how much is in the oil pan. And it's slightly shy of that top mark. Hopefully you can see 2 marks on the dipstick, and it was slightly below. So now I know I can definitely pour remaining half, and that will be just perfect for this engine. Now I have perfect amount of oil, so I can close this. Nice ratcheting system. I just confirmed that the dipstick is down there, and I'm ready to start up the engine. But I'm going first open that door because I don't want to suffocate here from the exhaust fumes. When I will be starting up the engine, I will observe that low oil pressure light, right? It needs to disappear really quickly. So let's see. Which is, let's see. I will observe actually here the gauge, and it's nicely coming up, so I know the oil is there, everything is perfect. It went slightly above the half, and now it's slightly below, so this is fantastic. Now I can go outside and really quickly check for possible leaks, which means I will just double check, right? I didn't forget anything here. I will look really quickly underneath, and I don't have anything leaking. And you can always leave that engine run for like 1 minute, then you can shut it off. And if you wait at least 5 minutes, you can take that final measurement using dipstick, and that will give you absolutely perfect oil level check. And there are still 2 more things to be done, right? I will replace that sticker which is on the windshield, which will remind me of the next oil change, and I will reset that maintenance light which is in the dashboard. Now, what do you write on your sticker? Do you put there 3,500? Do you put there 4,500 miles? This is older vehicle, right? What are you using? I will stick again with that manual which for this vehicle and for this engine says 4,500 miles to the next oil change. But to be honest with you, these numbers are only a reminder for me. I know the engine is older, and I better be checking it at least somewhere in the middle. Well, how you will be checking it? You just pull the dipstick, and dipstick tells you the level, but also the quality, right? If it will be getting really dark and brown and contaminated, I will go ahead and replace it before the interval, right? I will be not just blindly sticking with those numbers which are posted somewhere. And once again, I fully encourage everybody to share their own experience and practice what they do with their own vehicles. I hope you find this video helpful, and make sure you are subscribed. I have way more about Toyotas coming your way soon. Thank you for watching, and have a great day, my friend.